Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Fatia Az-Zahra. Here, I'm with my other five partners. They are Wafik Azizah, Iksora Windy Prastika, Fatan Akbar Al-Wafi, Muhammad Reza Pahlevi, and Hardian Gunadi. We would like to present a topic which entitled The Early Approaches to Second Language Acquisition or SLA. The early approaches to SLA are divided into two. Those are contrastive analysis and error analysis. Well, let's start with the contrastive analysis first. Contrastive analysis was established in 1690. It was pioneered by Robert Lado and published in 1957. This is an approach to SLA which involves predicting and explaining learner problems based on a comparison of L1 and L2 to determine similarities and differences. Contrastive analysis was strongly got influence from structuralism theory by linguistics and behaviorism theory by psychology. Structuralism influenced CA by stating that constituent language are interrelated each other and get their meaning from its connection. While in behaviorism, it has four characters which are imitation, practice, reinforcement, and habit formation. A learner starts off with the habits which informed in the L1, and these habits would interfere with the new ones needed for the L2. That's why behaviorism was dominant in CA. And the last point I'm gonna explain is the contrastive analysis problems. Well, CA was used to help the learners acquiring the second language. But besides, there's a bunch of problems with this approach. It can't clarify how learners get more knowledge besides they've heard or they have been taught. Also, sometimes the predictions were accurate. Alright everyone, the next materials will be delivered by the second speaker.
Okay, as the second speaker, I will continue the material about contrastive analysis. So, firstly is RR stimulus response reinforcement. Early proponents of CA assume the language acquisition essentially involves habit formation in a process of stimulus response reinforcement. So, students' response to the linguistic input or this process we call stimulus. Then students will habituate that response and reinforcement will occur. For short, they imitate and repeat the language that they hear, and when they are reinforced for the response, learning occurs. And also it means that students have to practice to make perfect. Next, let's talking about transfer. In CA theory, there are assumptions about two transfer that we have to know. In the case of ECLA, this means the transfer of elements acquired or habituated in L1 to the target L2. Positive transfer or facilitating is the same structure is appropriate in both languages. As in the transfer of Spanish plural morphem as on nouns to English, for the example, languages to language. Then negative transfer or interference is the first language structure is used inappropriately in the second language, as in the additional transfer of Spanish plural as to a modifier in number agreement with the noun. For the example, languages modernas to modern language. Now let's move into the process of contrastive analysis. The process of CA involves describing L1 and L2 at each level, analyzing roughly comparable segments of the language for elements which are likely to cause problems for learners. This information provides a rationale for construction language lessons that focus on structure which are predicted to most need attention and practice, and for sequencing the L2 structures in order of difficulty. At my last point is about Lado summarize. Among the most difficult are structures where there is partial overlap but not equivalent in form, meaning, and or distribution, and these are most likely to cause interference. The easiest L2 structures are those which exist in L1 with the same form, meaning, and distribution, and are thus available for positive transfer. Any structure in L1 which has a form not occurring in L1 needs to be learned, but this is not likely to be very difficult if it has the same meaning and distribution as an equivalent in L1.
I will present types of interferences. And the first one is same form and meaning, different distributions. It has same form and meaning in language, but the distributions of occurrence is different. And the example is Spanish attach modifiers and nouns, but English attach it only nouns. This is the same contrast which was illustrated in the earlier examples of the difference in word order that contrast inform at another level of analysis. The second is same meaning, different form. It has meaning that expressed by different grammatical elements in the two language. The example is the first person subject is another contrast in form, also conveyed by the suffix. The third is same meaning, different form and distributions. The example is the English word may occur as a noun in a glass of water, as a verb in water the garden, and as a modifier noun in the compound. The fourth is similar form, different meaning. Since the words look and sound so much alike, second language learners are likely to assume that they also share meaning. And next I will explain about behaviorist learning theory. The CA approach of the 1940s to 1960 was not adequate for the study of SLA, in part because the behaviorist learning theory to which it is tied cannot explain the logical problem of language learning that was addressed how learners know more than they have heard or have been taught. Next, another problem from contrastive analysis. Many of the second language problems which CA predicts do not emerge. First, CA doesn't account for many learner errors, and much predicted positive transfer doesn't materialize. And the second is a major limitation has been that instructional materials produced according to this approach are language specific and unsuitable for use with speakers of different native language. And maybe that's all from me.
Hello guys, now it's my turn. Here I would like to presenting to you about error analysis. I have two parts that I want to explain to you guys. The first one is the definition of error analysis, and the second one is the background of error analysis. So guys, in this slide I would like to explain to you about the definition of error analysis. Here the definition of error analysis. Error analysis is a technique to identify systematic of errors that made the learner of second language by using theories or procedures based on linguistics. This theory analysis is made for the alternative of contrastive analysis. The first approach of error analysis to the study of SLA is on the internal to construct language. Here, I would like to explain a little bit to you about a history of error analysis. First, error analysis has had a long history as far as second language learning is concerned, but in the early years before World War II, there was not a drive for deep research. Now we go on the background of error analysis. Precisely, this theory was established on the early of 1916, and the founder of error analysis theory, it was Stephen Fitzcarraldo and his colleagues, or I can mention one, it was Larry Lineker. Stephen Fitzcarraldo on the left side and Larry Lineker on the right side. Finally, as the revolution of an era, the previous theory analysis or contrastive analysis is being largely augmented or replaced by error analysis theory.
Okay, I'll continue. The linguistic and related development influence for study of first language. It explains that adopted ideas have a power in interactions with environment encourage learning, and the child is active and creative in the process.
Okay, article on the significance of learners' errors by S. Pitt Corder 1967. Second language or L2 learners' errors, not as bad habit, but it is a source of insight into the learning process. Error is also perfectly normal in learning of L2 or second language or target language. Then, Corder opinion on making errors in language learning. Making error is evidence from language learning process, so it doesn't matter if we make an error in speaking or writing. Okay, next, transitional competence, the ability to transition from first language into the second language through negative and positive transfer. Okay, next, the following steps of analyzing learner error. First, collection of sample of learner language. Data collected from many speakers who are responding to the same kind of test over a period of weeks, months, or even years. Second, identification of errors. A. Divide from second language or target language. B. Distinguishes between errors and mistake. So I'll tell you the differences between error and mistake. Alright, error is the result of ignorance or lack of knowledge. For example, my brother play basketball and watch movie every morning. The play and the watch word is there is an error because play and watch are supposed to be plays and watches because my brother refers to he. So the right sentence is my brother plays basketball and watches movie every morning. Mistake is an error of spoken and written despite you know it. For example, my brother plays basketball and watches movie every morning. The watches word is correct, but there is a mistake of play word because play word is supposed to be plays. So the correct sentence is my brother plays basketball and watches movie every morning. Third, description of error. Firstly, language level, whether an error is phonological, morphological, or even syntactic. Secondly, general linguistic category. For example, auxiliary system, passive sentence, or negative construction. And the last, more specific linguistic element. For example, articles, prepositions, and verb forms. Fourth, explanation of error. There are two of most likely causes of L2 errors. First, interlingual, and the second is intralingual. Interlingual errors caused by transferring rules from mother tongue or first language. For example, she is cool, beautiful is supposed to be she is beautiful girl. While intralingual errors caused by second language processing in each own term or due to the effect from L2. For example, he went to bank and steal the money. Steal word is incorrect because it's supposed to be stole because when is past tense, so steal it must be past tense too. Okay? Fifth, evaluation of error. The step is to analyze the effect of the mistake or error on anyone you point to.
Okay, I will explain the next material from error analysis. I will explain about problems with error analysis. There are three problems in error analysis. The first is ambiguity in classification. The second is lack of positive data. The third is potential for avoidance. Ambiguity in classification is the error because of a L1 influence or it is a part of the developmental process. And the second is lack of positive data. Lack of positive data does not explain what the learner has acquired. The third is potential for avoidance. The learner may not say it because the language structure is very difficult. To sum up, contrastive analysis is systematic analysis of language pairs such as L1 and L2 to identify differences and similarities between them. Error analysis is technique for identifying, classifying, and systematically interpreting the unacceptable forms produced by someone learning foreign language. Okay guys, I think that's all the presentation from us. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have a question, you can put it in the comment section below. Thank you. Okay guys, I think that's all the presentation from us. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have a question, you can put it in the comment section below. Thank you.